Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Hi, David. So I was thinking about cooperatives today, and it was exciting to see just about when David was finishing that. Even KPMG is a cooperative globally. It's a member of the KPMG International Cooperatives. All right, so good. It's pretty clear. Right, so just to give you an idea of what it is for those that are not very familiar with the term cooperative. A cooperative is essentially a registered society that allows its members to save together, lend to each other, and to invest as a group. They are registered with the state, so they are very legal. CBN, thank you very much. So they don't have any problems being a bank unto themselves. There are thousands of them in Nigeria. A lot of us are familiar with them as Esusu, which is okay. Various sizes, from cooperatives that have deposits of, say, 500,000 to those that have deposits of 15 billion in maybe oil and gas companies and banks and things like that. So yes, it's a really well-established concept. And why we chose to work with cooperatives is that we're trying to solve two problems to access to finance and problem of financial management. And we found that this has been the best, most scalable way that people have been able to do this, regardless of whether they have a bank account or they don't have a bank account. With that intro, again, my name is Salami. So I'll start with the story. There's a man, his name is Mr. Abolore. I hope he sees this video sometime. So he has a cooperative with about 1,000 members. And they've gotten 10,000 hectares of land somewhere in the Caribbean or so. And they want to farm it. They need a facility from a bank. They are trying to come up with their own contribution. They have NICEL that is saying, oh, don't worry, go ahead and farm. We have enough off-takers for your produce. Just make sure you produce good produce. And they're saying that how can we be better organized so that it becomes extremely easy for the bank to see our data, see all our members, validate them, see our farmland, and then eventually get the off-take. Well, thankfully, that's what we do. We help the likes of Mr. Abolore with 1,000 people or several other people with 500 people or 50 people get organized and make it easy, extremely easy for them to manage their own financial transactions because they're a bank unto themselves. And more importantly, to connect with banks. So for example, we work in the Bank of Industry. Oga Shinobi has been a strong supporter and helper. We work in the Union Bank and a couple of other financial and non-financial institutions to get this out to the market. When we talk about driving financial inclusion, what we see is a case where a lot of people already found their own financial inclusion. They are not waiting for the bank account or for an ATM card to be able to do their transactions. Right? They're already financially included in their own group. But we're saying we can bring them into the banking system. We launched last year in May, though we've been working for this for a while. With support from quite a number of people. Bumi, who was just here, KPMG. Thank you, boss. A lot of support from there. And we've grown to we crossed 500,000 users a couple of days ago. The World Bank has also said, hey, we like what you're doing. We're supporting you. We won the Financial Inclusion Challenge for Lagos, competed in Jordan. We didn't win that. We have support from the likes of Co-Creation Hub. We also happen to be the one that won the 1770 Challenge Cup for Lagos, for Nigeria, and we're representing the country in DC in January. Now, next slide. So, again, the question is, what is the problem we're trying to solve? Access to finance still remains a huge problem. People have found their own way of solving this problem. Financial management is still a huge problem, a nightmare, frankly. People are also, there's no solution to this one yet. Everybody is in debt, if you think about it. And a lot of more ways for you to borrow money now and pay later, right? No, you can go back. Pay later, by the way, fantastic guys. Ngozi, awesome job. The cooperative system is a strong support system. It has a lot of potential and it's very potent. And we think that this can solve a lot of the problems that we're facing when it comes to financial services. And this is why we've decided to focus on this segment, on this part of the system. Next slide. Yeah, we know all the data, 30 million bank accounts, 12 million people save with collectors. Thank you, Efina, for the kind of research that you do. I'm hoping I'll attend your next event so that we can find out how we can get your innovation grant. 59 million people, well, I hear KPMG say 66 million, no bank accounts. But these guys are already doing their transactions, so they're not waiting for bank accounts. How do we solve this problem? And if you look at that number, 36% of these people already either save with some sort of collector, their own cooperative, their village groups, or whatever it is that they're saving with. Even they banked, right? I mean, it's shocking for you to hear that there's a cooperative in Nigeria that has 15 billion or so in deposit. It's not bank. They're not a bank. They're not a microfinance bank. It's Tiwa, the employees of the company saying, hey, every month I'm going to put this amount aside for my salary, and I'm going to use that money to maybe buy a house in 5 years, or when I need a loan, I'll come back to the group and say, hey, group, give me X amount of money as double of what I have saved. And this has become extremely important at this time. Next slide, please. So, how are we solving this problem? The banks, they're doing the best they can. They cannot be everything to everybody. They have the core banking application, but it doesn't serve all the needs. However, they built enough pieces. That industry standard API. When we started in 2013, we couldn't debit anybody, we couldn't credit anybody. For you to know that a transaction has happened, you need bank statement. But today, all the APIs, I mean, thanks to NIBS, to Switch, Remita, and all the guys, we can do all that. However, so what we've done is, and what we're seeing happening is that all of these pieces of information are now getting recalibrated and redesigned in such a way that if you want core banking and you want channels, USSD, fine, get it. If you want alert instantly, you can get the digital bank and you have an alert without ever needing to go into a bank. But more importantly, we're also thinking there are rooms for other type of banking solutions, like your cooperative. And we are going ahead to create that platform and working with banks to say, hey, don't worry, we support you. You have 10,000 users. Okay, it's not, your transactions cannot sustain our core banking application, so we won't give you one. But don't worry, there's VB here, and you can put all your members here, and you can do all your transactions. And that's how we're solving that problem. Next slide, please. Simple, sign up, put in your members, put in all your transactions, start lending to each other, start doing your banking on the platform. And yes, we love banks, right? We work with banks. Yes, next slide. So again, technology. Yabiliki does not care about technology. She just wants to be able to access her money instantly. And if you say you want to automate a cooperative, then you must be able to give her the channels that makes it easy. So for those customers that cannot download a mobile app or get on the web, all they need is a simple card. No need for data. The agent comes around and scans the card or does an NFC. And that's how they keep their money in this sense. Next slide. Yes, again, just to emphasize the point, offline, online, you have to be in every channel because the user is not going to depend on the ATM to be able to do their transaction. They need to be able to do it in whatever way they can. We're working with a telco now, hopefully very soon, things will come out sometime next year to have an IVR service. You can just call in, speak their own language. Speak their own language, literally, and the transaction happens. Not necessarily depending on the bank or internet. Next slide, please. In 5 years, we hope that we'll be able to help 20 million people, preferably 15 million of them should not have had a bank account before. That's our preference, so that we can be part of that process. Yeah, Ogashonobi said we should not do financial inclusion. We're not trying to do financial inclusion. They've already financially included themselves. All we are doing is giving them the tools to make it easier for them to connect to the system, right? And we want to be very sector focused. We're going to be doing a lot of agricultural cooperatives next year. And then again, working with the banks. These are two very key things. We have 5 banks that we're talking to right now. Union Bank especially. Thank you, Union Bank, for taking the lead. And Bank of Industry, who has been extremely fundamental to our growth so far. Development partners, also extremely important. So you have, Nigerian Agricultural Society or International Fund for Agricultural Development. All of these guys are interested in seeing how they can help the trade sector through the cooperatives. And we provide a platform for them to easily be able to connect with these guys, to be able to easily manage them, like Mr. Agbola's cooperative. I think that's it. Thank you.